we've got enemies that expect us at this point in time, because of this president and his administration, to be weak and to give them running room. They like that. They think that's a good thing. And they think that because this president is weak when it comes to our southern border, that they can push people into our country. From October to the end of the year, 24,000 Chinese, I think it was, Mr. President, that came in through our borders. You're talking about people from, according to the Border Patrol, 170 different countries that were coming across our border. And we know that these 8.8 million illegal immigrants that have entered this country under President Joe Biden's watch are not all individuals that are coming here for a better life. We know some of them are coming here to do us harm. Indeed, the FBI director in December, when he was before our committee, Mr. President, he responded to Senator Graham's question about what he saw with the terrorist threat. And indeed, in paraphrasing his comments, he talked about how he had never seen such broad-based threats, and that everywhere he looked, he saw red lights flashing. The world's a dangerous place. And Mr. President, it's coming to our border. Now, there are some things that we had wanted to get done in this bill that are not going to be done. And I will note for my colleagues that H.R. 2, which I know my Democratic colleagues do not like that bill. I know that. I understand that. We have a difference of opinion on that. But H.R. 2 is the House border security bill. Border security. What people are demanding that we do, secure our southern border. Now that landed on our desk at Senate Judiciary Committee, and of course Homeland Security has part of that, and HHS has part of that. The Senate Help Committee, but it landed on May 15th. Now, Mr. President, we've had over 80 meetings of the Senate Judiciary Committee since that bill landed. Not once have we even looked at taking it up, amending it, letting regular order take place, letting people amend that bill and make it a work product of the committee. That is not what has happened, but it is what should have happened, allowing regular order to take place and people to be able to weigh in and speak on this bill. But there was a decision not to move forward with that. Instead, it was pushed to the side and a special committee put in place, and they were tasked with solving what was going to be a border and national security bill. Interestingly enough, and I know that they all worked hard, and I know Senator Langford put his best efforts into that. But you know, Mr. President, I think there's a lot to be said for going by regular order, letting the committees take up a piece of legislation, letting the committees do their work on that piece of legislation. But that did not happen. But when I talk to Tennesseans, they are terribly concerned about what is happening with the open border because they see the impacts in their communities every single day, and the impacts are undeniable. When you look at the tens of thousands of U.S. citizens that lose their lives every year to fentanyl poisoning, and right now, Mr. President, the #1 killer of U.S. citizens in the 18 to 45-year-old age bracket is fentanyl. We know the Chinese are working hand in glove with the Mexican cartels, especially the Sinaloa cartel, that is right there on the Mexico side across from that Arizona border. They are working overtime. They're pressing those pills, and then they're pushing them across the border. That is what they think is going to help them attack us and harm our citizens. The drug trafficking, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking that is taking place every single day. Local law enforcement, I visit with each of our 95 Tennessee counties every single year. And to a county, law enforcement tells me they can't deal with the drugs and the human trafficking and the gangs and the crime until we secure the southern border. They're trying, but it continues to grow every single day. Now, another thing that concerns everyone, and this ties us back to the FBI's comments about seeing flashing red lights, and that is the number of people who are special interest aliens that are coming from countries like Iran and Afghanistan and Syria, and they're flooding into our country. As I said, people from 170 countries is what the Border Patrol tells us came across our border last year. Think about that. These are people who are making a choice to come across our southern border, paying a cartel to come across that border instead of legally coming into this country. That is a choice that they are making. Now, also, the terrorist watch list, in addition to those hundreds that are coming from special interest countries, you've got 49 terrorist watch list individuals that have been apprehended at the border since the start of fiscal year 2024. So we know that this danger is there. We know these individuals are coming into our country, and we know that our law enforcement professionals are telling us, it's not a question of if we have another terrorist attack on U.S. soil. It is a question of when.